Good morning, everyone. It's, we've really come full circle. 2 years ago, I was standing on this very spot that we're standing right now. And with Wade, we walked through the charred remnants of what was once an emergency shelter and the vitally important warehouse that the San Fernando Valley Rescue Mission depended upon for its items. This entire area that we're standing in now was bent steel, charcoaled wood, piles and piles of refuse, burned remains of this building and its contents that our firefighters had to drag out and douse it with water. It was a horrendous, tragic scene. And I think, for me, one of the things that hit me the most was, and you can still see the outline of the emergency shelter here on the floor, where almost 30 people were living when that fire occurred. And as we walked through this, and some of the walls were still standing, despite the destruction, taped to one of those walls was one of the hand-drawn pictures that one of the little 6-year-old residents of the shelter had drawn and taped to the wall, because that's where they lived for that moment. And they wanted to make that place their own and show their art to their friends and their family. And it was still there, taped to the wall. And I took it down from the wall so that we could deliver it with Lorraine and the rest of my staff. We could deliver it to that child who was then living in a park, in emergency shelter during the park. It was a heart-wrenching, devastating time for all of us. No one more so than Wade, I'm sure, who had devoted so much of his life to building this up, only to see it so devastating. But, you know, sometimes when there's disaster and when there's devastation and when there's crisis, there's also wonderful things that emerge from that. And this was an example of that, because I saw people rally around this cause in a way that was so heartwarming and almost unprecedented, I think, in the city. All of my colleagues, every single member of the City Council who represents the San Fernando Valley, showed up here within days of that fire and said, what can we do? How can we help? They worked with me bringing together funds, bringing together our business community, NBC Universal and Vaughn's and the Los Angeles Dodgers and so many other members of our business community who wanted to lend a hand. Bringing together our city employees, notably the firefighters of Los Angeles, as well as the engineers and architects and many others who wanted to lend a hand and see how they could help. And they made a huge difference. They fed those families, they brought meals to the families that were here in their temporary sheltering. They contributed items. Even the Dodgers' wives had a collection at Dodger Stadium to bring in items to help restock the thrift stores at the rescue mission. We had a Dodger night where all of those homeless families were invited down onto the field by the Los Angeles Dodgers. And I think throughout all of this process, in addition to helping this mission, to help rescue the mission, we also helped to change the way people perceive homelessness in the San Fernando Valley. Because it's very easy for people who have never experienced homelessness to stereotype the population that is, currently unhoused, to overlook them. And this crisis forced us to think in a different way and to see that our neighbors needed our help. And thankfully, people stepped up and helped our neighbors. And in the process, a brand new mission emerged, a much more robust sheltering opportunity that Wade just described came out of this. It's a beautiful facility. This warehouse that we're in now, which is bigger, better, brighter than the one that preceded it, came out of that. New vehicles for the rescue mission to do pickups of items. So a lot of good things came out of crisis, but we're not quite done yet. So as we look around and we see this brand new warehouse, I would encourage everyone, help to fill it. Help make the donations of goods, of money, to allow Wade and the good people of the San Fernando Valley Rescue Mission to continue to do the life-changing, life-saving work that they do. Not just for the homeless population that they serve, but for generations still to come who will be impacted by the better life that these families will have. They impact all of our communities who would otherwise have to deal with some of the negative ramifications of homelessness, but for the important work that the Rescue Mission is doing in changing those lives, bringing people off the streets and giving them a better opportunity. So I would urge you all, continue to help rescue this mission, continue to help support their good work, and we're going to make a significant difference for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lives. So Wade, thank you very much for your commitment. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of this, very important step